I have new reporting about how President Trump has been personally involved in discussions happening inside the White House about a new option that they are considering to justify the rapid pace of their deportations. What they're exploring potentially doing, and the key word here, I should note from our reporting, is potentially, is so rare that it's actually only been done 4 times in U.S. history, including during the Civil War and after the attack on Pearl Harbor. Habeas corpus is a legal procedure explicitly mentioned in the Constitution. It allows people to challenge the federal government in court if they've been detained. And one of the president's top aides today, Stephen Miller, confirmed publicly that the White House is exploring this extraordinary step.
Well, the Constitution is clear, and that, of course, is the supreme law of the land, that the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus can be suspended in a time of invasion. So I would say that's an option we're actively looking at. Look, a lot of it depends on whether the courts do the right thing or not. At the end of the day, Congress passed a body of law known as the Immigration and Nationality Act, which stripped Article 3 courts, that's the judicial branch, of jurisdiction over immigration cases. So Congress actually passed, it's called jurisdiction stripping legislation. It passed a number of laws that say that the Article 3 courts aren't even allowed to be involved in immigration cases.
Now, a legal expert that I'm going to talk to in a moment says everything you just heard there from Stephen Miller is not correct. We'll ask Ellie Honig why, but I should note that on this premise of this being considered at the White House, as Stephen Miller did confirm there, we're told that President Trump has not explicitly mentioned habeas corpus publicly. We have not actually heard from him say that in front of the cameras, but it is something that he was referencing when we heard from him less than 2 weeks ago as he was asked about what he wants to do when it comes to the nationwide court orders and injunctions against him.
There are other ways to mitigate it, and there's some very strong ways. There's one way that's been used by 3 very highly respected presidents, but we hope we don't have to go that route. But there is one way that has been used very successfully by 3 presidents, all highly respected, and hopefully we don't have to go that way. But there are ways of mitigating that.
Now, while it's still unclear tonight if this is something that the administration is actually going to attempt to do, I should note that both the private discussions that we have confirmed here tonight involving the president and also what we're hearing from one of his top and most influential aides publicly does show how this is under serious consideration inside the West Wing, at least. My lead source tonight is the New York Times White House correspondent Maggie Haberman. Maggie, obviously, it's no surprise to anyone that Trump has been frustrated by the courts. I mean, he says it publicly. He's tweeting about it this morning, I think. What do you make, though, of the fact that this is even being considered inside the White House?
So we have seen incredibly aggressive posture from this White House for some time, both from President Trump and Stephen Miller. We know that in the prep before the administration began, Stephen Miller spent years trying to figure out ways to get these plans enacted. Allies of the president figured out how to get lawyers who would help him arrive at a yes as opposed to a no. So I'm not surprised to hear them talking about this.